And when we all found out we were on fiat currency and not the gold standard in 2007, everybody got the red pill. That was like, and now are we in hyperinflation right now? I don't know if you'd call it hyperinflation, but we've just almost doubled our money supply.
I'll call myself out outright. I'm 36. I am not married. I'm in a relationship, but we have no kids. There is something about millennials where it didn't happen.
Well, but values change to accommodate reality, right? I mean, I just think about, I was just ahead of this curve. I guess I got lucky for that. But if you're about 35, about your age, you basically got out of high school, 9/11 happens. We've been at war ever since you've been anything like an adult, right? And the only politics that you've known is people screaming at each other, calling each other Nazis and so forth. And that's it. That's our politics as far as since you've ever been paying attention to politics. That's what it's been. You just get out of college, and like the year or two after you get out of college, the financial crisis hits. And things are just a waste for several years. You finally start to maybe get back on your feet in your mid-30s and you're starting to put something together. COVID hits. Like, this is just an incredible amount of instability for any generation to handle. And, the millennials are going to be the first generation in American history that has a lower standard of living than their parents do.
Yep.
And you cannot overstate, I think, how significant that is, right? Because it's not just that, like, my parents had a house that was this big and I only get a house that's this big. What people relate it to, like what their basic standard of what a life should look like, is how things were when they were growing up. And so you have an entire generation of people who in the aggregate grew up a certain way and are starting to realize and understand that they are going to take a step back from where that was. And that's, it's not some like huge mystery why we get Bernie Sanders at a time like this.
There's this viral video about pod housing, where people, these companies will buy like a decently large loft and then stack up like 5 little cubes and then 5 on top, and you crawl into this little, it's probably 4 feet wide, 4 feet high, and you crawl into your little mat on the floor with your TV and your art, and that's your pod. Everyone shares the kitchen and bathrooms. And there's videos of these millennials being like, it's just so awesome. It's only $800 per month. And it's just like, oh no,
that's
for real.
So much.
You want to live in some of these cities, man.
It's only $400 a month with a roommate.
Hey, look at that.
Well, hey, this is what you're going to get communism. You're going to get little hippie houses, buildings where there's going to be like 50 millennials all living in it, and they're sharing their kids. Like their kids are going to be just communal kids, I mean.
I saw a tweet, and I need to verify this one, but I believe it was from the World Economic Forum, and it showed young people about our age living in a tiny house, and it said, if you own a big house, you're racist. You need to own a small house. You need to own nothing and be happy about it. And I was telling my dad about this when he came out a little while ago. I said, Dad, I feel a great sense of almost resentment, but very much a sense of missing something that we never had, because I know now that the American dream that I grew up with is not something that I will ever see. I will never see my white picket fence. That's not something that I'm never going to have.
Yeah, the American dream was
that's true.
The American dream was based on imperialism and war.
No,
it wasn't a real thing.
I think one of the issues is I also think millennials are the first generation of mass debt college students. I don't think Gen X, for the most part, was inundated at the same way millennials were. The boomers certainly weren't. So one of the issues is I believe when I grew up, every single adult was like, we have to go to college. And I would just be like, why? And they would be like, because otherwise